Hey everybody, this is my annual check-in except for last year, but Dave Glanzer, I always call him the Czar, but he's
I answer
really
to everything, but is the Chief Communications and Strategy Officer
of Comic-Con International.
Yeah.
I want to start off really by your remembrance of our president who passed away.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it was a very tough year for us. John had been president for, I think, 32 years. He started originally as a volunteer working in the films department. One of the things about John that was amazing is how even-keeled he was. John often looked like he was grumpy, but he had an amazing sense of humor. He had a great laugh. But what was great was he was very unflappable. And as you can imagine, with an organization of this size, a convention of this size, things could get a little crazy or harried. He was always both feet firmly planted on the ground, offering great solutions and ideas. And you know, he's missed this year. It's every time we turn around, John used to be everywhere, and it's his not being here is very conspicuous.
Where do you go from here with that then?
Well, you know, we one of the great things about this year is we have a lot of programs and panels on the past 50 years. Tomorrow there'll be a panel on John specifically. But it's been amazing to visit some of the past presidents, committee members, heads, and reminisce about what the convention was like. Sometimes, you know, we forget that when we started, the show was much smaller. When I started, it was 6,000 people. And there's a part of me that feels like it's just about 6 months ago that happened.
Wow.
But it was back in 1984. So I think we move forward always remembering the past, but keeping our eyes on the future.
Congratulations on the expansion.
Thank you. Well, on the extension,
excuse
we're
me.
going to be here until 2024. I like to say that Comic-Con's like a big plane. It needs a long runway. So we need a lot of years to decide what we're going to do. But you mentioned the expansion. I'll tell you, there's a ballot initiative next March, and the citizens of San Diego will get to vote on whether or not they want a convention center expansion. I think it'd be good for the city. I think it'd be good to attract other big conventions. It would certainly be good for Comic-Con. And we'll see what happens. We're waiting to see what happens.
Folks, I'm biased for Comic-Con. Please pass it. Please. This is not
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Hey, so the studios, a lot of people are asking, what's going on with the studios? What's going on with the studios?
The same thing that happens every year. It's funny. I think a lot of people wonder, oh my gosh, there's a studio that's not coming. They've given up on Comic-Con. I don't think that's true. It's always an ebb and flow. One of the things that we think is really important is if you have something to share with the fans at Comic-Con, you should bring it. If you have something that isn't quite ready, you can wait a while and make sure that's honed. The thing I think savvy participants know is it isn't good to just come to put a flag in a time slot just because you think you have to be here. Because if you end up boring the audience because you have something that really isn't ready or something that you don't think is really for this audience, then all of a sudden they know it too, and nobody wants to be sold to.
Hey, so on that note, Tom Cruise is a genius.
Tom Cruise, I got to tell you, man, popping in.
Wow.
Comic-Con is known for its surprises, and
I was there.
He wowed the audience. Were you?
Yes.
And we got to see a trailer, and it's amazing to think how long ago that movie was, but how exciting it was to see that trailer, right? And then you saw the Terminator.
Yes.
And it's like they're bringing back, for our 50th, we're reminiscing a lot. And at Comic-Con this year, there's a lot of reminiscing as well. But again, looking at the past, but keeping our eyes on the future. So
50th anniversary of Comic-Con, and to me, I've said before, this is the mecca of American culture.
I like to think so. One of the very, very cool things about Comic-Con is the diversity that we have and the different kinds of art that we bring together. And the people, I was just talking to a friend of mine who's a costumer who in college, she was an actress, a beautiful voice, but she loved costuming, and now that is her job. She says, it's amazing that I get to do every day what it is I love to do. And there's so many creative types here that from different fields that you never know who anybody is, you don't know what they do, but it's great to share their passion and they can share yours.
How many more hotels do you need regarding the campus? I know we've talked about the campus setting.
Well, if we can get an expansion, then a lot less. But right now, we have contracts with about 60 hotels for room nights. We probably use about 4 or 5 hotels for their meeting space. We use the park space right close to San Diego for activations. We've used a meeting space now at the museum and a building we own in south of the convention center called the Barrio House. So we're trying to make the best we can. It's basically a Band-Aid, but so far it's working, and hopefully, we'll be able to expand at some point.
I have to say, overall, I have to compliment you all on building a system, a city within a city that really works.
Thank you.
And
it's a lot
I think
of
it's
logistics.
finally, come together really, really well.
I hope so. We had a panel yesterday on we brought together city officials and convention officials and a whole bunch of different people who work on making this thing happen every year. And it was a great panel. It was a lot of fun. I think hopefully gave a little bit of insight of all the different aspects that a lot of people don't even think about to make things
And lastly, because I know you got to go, the whole name issue, because I personally am annoyed that I hear about all these different Comic-Cons, except maybe, but what's...
Well, so we're still in litigation. We won a case. They appealed, so it's now before the appellate judge. We're just moving forward. Comic-Con, we have some licenses with other conventions. We just want to make sure that we've established a lot of time, effort. Our fans have established a lot into the brand. We want to make sure the brand is indicative of a good quality experience, that it isn't just an autograph show, or that it isn't just something done to make money, but is really an educational ability to promote art, comics art, and we hope that will prevail in the end. I have good thought about it, and then we can move forward and again, not look back so much, but keep our eye on the future.
Great to see you, my man.
Always good to see
Great
you.
to
Thank
see
you
you,
so
man.
much.
Thank you.
I'll see you later.
Man, yeah, see you.